Hello, space friends. Captain Snuggles here, back in X4 Foundations to bring balance to the Force. Y'all know I like to be reasonably impartial, on average. Yesterday I made a mostly negative video about Beta 7.5 with some positive bits sprinkled in. Today I'm making a mostly positive video about Beta 7.5 with some negative bits sprinkled in. I'm going to sprinkle those in right now because I'm a bad news first, good news second kind of guy. So yesterday some people got mad at me saying it's just a beta and I shouldn't rush EgoSoft. My response is that, practically speaking, this isn't a beta. 7.5 has been labeled a beta, but a lot of it isn't in the beta stage, it's somewhere in the alpha stage. There are some seriously glaring bugs and AI issues that are making large sections of the game, like fleet combat, not playable by any reasonable standard. If it ain't playable, it ain't testable. And if it ain't testable, then what the hell are we doing here? So yeah, I'm in a hurry for this stuff to get fixed, because I'd like to do some actual beta testing before the beta test ends. If we don't get to do that, if all we get to do during the beta test is to get things out of alpha state, then 7.5's full release is going to be functionally a beta, and everyone's going to have a bad time. Now, having thrown that little bit of gasoline on the fire, it's time to talk about the actual topic of this video. We are here in one of my favorite systems, Litany of Fury. My view of the extremely unstable, extremely cool red giant over there is being sullied by this dang build storage. But that's okay. The build storage is a necessary evil because I really wanted to build this, the new wide area scanner module, which gives this equipment dock an enormous radar range. Bam, look at all that. Why an equipment dock, you ask? Well, because I wanted easy repairs for my station position defense fleet, which is automatically reinforced using the lost ship replacement feature. Pretty cool, right? I'm concerned by the way ships are performing in the beta, but stations have gotten some serious love. Now, establishing this outpost in Xenon territory was a colossal pain in the butt, absolutely impractical, but now that it's established, we can do some fun things with it. Hopefully. I haven't actually tested it yet, so maybe this will end up being a negative video after all. Let's find out. So stations are still limited to a single defense group, which is pretty restrictive for position defense, but we can at least add subgroups to diversify the fleet. This one has 8 Phoenix E's and 30 Chimeras divvied up between them, all assigned to defense. Their first job will be to take down this Xenon defense platform that's right on my doorstep. That's not it. That's a dead K. Where is this thing? There it is. Will be to take down this Xenon defense platform that's right on my doorstep. Damage will hopefully get repaired automatically here at the equipment dock, and losses will hopefully get replaced automatically by my shipyard next door here. Let's see. So this is simple stuff. I just drag the position defense zone onto the station and wait for the destroyers to engage. While I wait, I take the opportunity to do a little bit of screenshot fishing with this very picturesque station, which conveniently has the destroyers in the background. And this is a gorgeous system. Now, in retrospect, maybe I should have picked a system with slightly better lighting, because as much as I love the red ambiance, I don't even know what color this module is. So, minor oversight, but I'm still pretty happy with it, because it is absolutely gorgeous. And while I was ogling that, the destroyers have gotten to the station and engaged. This is normal destroyer stuff. It's been featured on my channel repeatedly. Nothing has really changed too much. A destroyer does overshoot its attack position here by a decent bit, which was not unheard of before. Normally I'd be pretty unhappy about that, but here it's actually good for the test because it causes the chimeras to engage the defense drones and eventually to fly into the station's guns, which means I got a chance to look at the response to damage and the ship replacement procedure. Here you can see the response to damage, which is perfect, ideal, textbook. The damaged Chimera flew right back to the equipment dock, got repairs, popped right back out, and is rejoining the fray. I do not quite have time to see the ship replacement happening before the next big event arises. A K has shown up, and so I have to divert my destroyers, drag that position defense zone over, and send them to engage. And we're skipping that fight because it was excruciating. I'll spare you the details and just say that, in general, when all the ships in a battle are incapable of precise navigation, the one with the best turrets wins. So, the K is fine. It has single-handedly eviscerated my fleet, and I'm retreating with the survivors. They're falling back to the last bastion of hope and beauty in this cold, cruel universe. Back to the station. Bam! There it is, looking just as cool as it did 5 minutes ago. The fleet's abject failure at least gave the station something to do, and it worked. Ships returned, got repaired, and got back in the fight. I made sure I had all the correct blueprints beforehand, and as a result, ships that were destroyed were automatically replaced in a timely manner, and the tooltips kept me apprised of their status. Their subordinates were even assigned as temporary placeholder ships to maintain the structure of the fleet, which sort of worked, and the tooltips informed me about that as well. Also, my dumb self forgot to add a warp module onto the shipyard next door, so replacement destroyers were built there, while fighters were built farther away, and that 2 shipyard split worked just fine. Long story short, ship replacement is off to a great start. It seems like it's going to be absolutely fabulous. And since it can be applied to stations, that means you can automatically replace your lost traders and miners, in addition to your military ships. Honestly, I think that's better than the military applications. Station position defense is not as nice. Its utility is pretty limited by the 1 defense wing rule. Still, it's functional. And in case you weren't aware, you can deploy fleets to other systems using position defense, so you can launch offensive operations from this type of station as well. It's not all that practical. It's much better suited to defense, but offense is possible. I did run into a couple of issues here and there with ship replacement and station position defense, especially where they interacted with one another. They're a little rough around the edges, but they're entirely usable. In other words, they're actual beta features. As for the big photogenic centerpiece of this video, the Wide Area Sensor Array, it's also in solid beta condition. It has one known issue that's supposed to get patched soon, and on my end, I had one weird occurrence that might have just been a user error. Otherwise, it seemed to work fine. It's not exactly complicated, basically just a big satellite. I don't know if it takes any fewer clicks to build than placing down an equivalent number of advanced satellites, and it's certainly slower and more expensive to deploy, so it's probably not a really efficient option unless you're building a station anyway. That said, it does cut down on map clutter, and it has good vision above and below the ecliptic, and it looks awesome. It's not a game changer, but it is a nice little addition. It would absolutely be a game changer if we could assign interception and bombardment wings to stations, but we can't. So right now, it's just nice. There you have it. Obviously, the new flight model affects basically everything in the game, which makes it hard to look at anything in isolation, but to the extent that I was able, that's what I did here. Stations are about as isolated from flying as you can get in X4, and stations are looking pretty dang good. They can't carry the game on their own, but this is at least something positive. If ships get fixed up to the point stations are at now, then we can have ourselves a beta. And with that, I have restored balance to the Force, and we can all get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll tune in next time, and until then, this is Captain Snuggles, signing off.